And this was their last winner. This was 2000. What was it, Howard?
2003.
2003. You won in this car. Now, when I'm thinking cross-country comfort, I'm thinking cup holders, satellite radio,
so.
that kind of thing.
There's
You
no
don't have
satellite
that,
radio?
No GPS.
No GPS. You just
pencil and paper. That's it. You don't even have a road map.
now, when you say a race, people think of NASCAR or something like that.
Yep.
This is more road rally type
This
racing.
is an event road rally using the streets of America,
Okay.
the live roads of America.
And you're not taking 90 or 80 or 70 across.
No, you might transit on those roads, but your actual rallying portion will be on old back roads.
Really?
Yep.
Now, do you miss a year with this, or have you done it pretty much every year?
We missed 1 year during Douglas's graduation, but we've done this since 91 to 2007, so we went for 14 or 15 years.
All right, now this morning, so you're getting ready to go again. You leave tomorrow?
Leaving tomorrow morning. Yep.
Okay. So this one won in 2003,
2003,
but you're not taking it this time?
No, it let us down last year, and it's kind of sad. So here it is. We're going to take a brand new car.
All right, and that is in the garage right there?
Yes.
Whoa.
1932 Ford dirt track racer.
Look at
Hotel
that.
Racer. And that car is new to us. The car just came to us out of Morgan Hill, California.
Well, it looks great, and we're going to get to know more about that
You
car,
bet.
and we're going to get to know Doug and Howard even better this morning when we come back.
Oh,
Thanks,
they are
Doug.
really
That one
neat.
looks a little more spacious than the other one they had. It looks like it has more room in it.
I took a ride in that one last year, and boy, it's a bumpy ride. We'll be right back after this. More news straight ahead.
Manchester area tomorrow morning on a little ride. 4,280 miles from Concord, North Carolina to Anaheim, California. They've won the great race before, and I can see it in their eyes. They want to do it again this
Oh,
year.
yeah, they do.
They
So,
got a shot.
I have
They
a
were
question.
close last
Yes.
year.
He was just saying, pencil and paper, no maps or anything like that. How do they know where to go if they get separated from the group? Are there markers along the way?
Because they're guys.
Oh.
Guys always know where to go.
They don't ask
need-
directions. They don't
they
ask directions. Yeah.
Okay.
Was that the question? Was that the answer you were
No.
looking for?
No, that
not
wasn't
at
the answer we
all.
were
All right, I'll
looking
get the
for.
real answer in a few minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Doug.
They are really a neat father-son duo. And it's so funny because, and he'll probably talk about this, but they gain weight and then lose weight. Like they lose weight to fit in those cars. You were mentioning how small they are. So they'll lose weight and then after the race, they'll gain it back and then they'll lose it again. It's really neat. They're fun guys. I'm really looking forward to
Who knew
hearing
that
from them.
antique car racing was
Oh.
so, it's like wrestling.
It is.
You gotta fit
You gotta
in,
make
you know?
weight. You gotta
That's
make
it.
weight.
Gotta make it class.
You know?
Jeez. Martin?
Well,
About 200 instructions to get us probably about 300 miles.
And on that given day, adding up all the times at each checkpoint that you were either late or early,
Yep.
you had a score of 15 seconds. You were
15
off by
seconds.
15 seconds total at all those different checkpoints.
Correct.
And that's not a good day.
That's not a good day. It has to be under 5 seconds to be a really good day.
Wow, that's fascinating.
So, more precise than flying airplanes for sure.
And you're in charge of that part of it.
I am in charge. My driver helps out a lot because he has to go the speeds that I tell him to go.
I see.
Which
Okay.
we kid back and forth. He can't rally, but I can't drive. So we have a good
So you're a
combination.
team.
Yes.
More with the Sharps when we come back. A little bit, but they have won it twice. They won in '93 and they won in 2002. And you might ask, what do they win? And you know what? If they win, they might recover their costs. Is that fair to say, guys?
That's a good statement on that.
This is Doug. This is Howard, navigator, driver. But it's not a two-man race, is it? There's
No,
a team.
there's a lot that goes on to make this whole thing go together.
Let's meet the team
And
here, shall we?
this is my wife Jan.
Hi,
She
Jan.
she is going to drive the support vehicle from here to California with another staff member, which we don't have here. He's on a tour. That's just Bill Preston from Waterloo.
Okay.
And then Bob and Connie
Bob and Connie.
Bilger. They will fly out to California and they will drive the Suburban and the car and trailer back to here after the 16th of July.
Okay, very good. Well, so it's a team effort.
Yep.
And I understand that this gentleman...
It's a family effort.
Family effort. And I
Yeah.
understand that he kind of made himself a member of the team back in 90-something.
91.
91?
Yeah.
You said you figured they needed the help,
They need a lot of help.
and they still do.
Well, yeah, but they got a lot more help nowadays. They good.
Well, it's great to have you all here this morning. This is just part of the crowd. There's a whole other crowd of folks here who are supporting you.
Yeah,
as
we have
well.
a lot of people here supporting.
Now, we have some video of the race that I want to show so people get an idea of what this is. And it is a rally. You're going to go from point to point, and the idea is to make your checkpoints at the precise time, and every second you're off is a point deducted from your score for that day. You've won it twice. What's the key to winning it? And tell me about what happened last year, Doug, when you thought you had it won.
Well, because the race doesn't stop for anybody, it's all that timed event road rally. Our car broke on the last day, and we were in second place. We weren't in first, but we had our chances for second.
Yeah.
And then we ended up finishing 13th. So, you know, it happens. It's racing. That's
After
what it's all
going
about.
across country for 14
After going across
days.
country, yeah.
All right, let's take a look inside the car. We got about 30 seconds left. This one is, I mean, we think of comfort nowadays in traveling cross country. This is a different kind of comfort.
Yeah, this necessarily isn't a whole lot of comfort. We are happy to get in and out of the car as much as we possibly can, but we've made some modifications inside to allow Dad and I to fit in there comfortably.
Yeah.
And we have our instruments of speedometer. We don't have an odometer, so it's all about speed, and I tell them what speed to go. We have our stopwatch. And other than that, we're just going down the road. When it rains, we really get wet. When it's sunny, we really stay warm. So you never win.
The 50 sunblock, I heard.
Or better.
Okay. Well, more on the Great Race when we come back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the process of getting from point A to point B and doing it for points.
Doug, they're so tall, too, so they need to have room for their legs in that vehicle. That's for sure.
Yeah. The room they got is the room they got.
That's what they get.
Doug, when we come back, I want to know, do they get along for the whole trip?
Well, yeah, I asked that question. That's a good one. I'll ask it again.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
There's a lot of math in this race. For instance, the last car they took 40 seconds to get from 0 to 50. This car takes 18 seconds to get from 0 to 50. And you think that doesn't change the navigator's job. We'll talk about the math behind racing cross country in just a few minutes.
But that's why we became journalists, so we didn't have to think about math.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. And then I show up this morning and there's all this math for me to do.
Yeah,
I was
didn't they
very
say
disappointed.
TV was created for the C+ student or something? I'm kidding. When it comes to math, I'm talking, Doug.
I understand. No, I'm all right in math. At least I thought I was till I started talking to these.
Exactly. Thanks,
Thank you,
Doug.
Doug.
Yeah, it really is. They gotta compute everything. So
Yeah.
anyway, Marty's here with a look at the weather forecast,
Yeah,
and
I
it
got
is.
some-
Anaheim might be how many miles if you were to go the regular way, just taking the interstates? I don't know.
2,800,
2,800 miles. But this race is how long?
4,280.
So it's what you're doing along the way that really makes this a different trip cross country. When we come back, we're going to get a little bit more into the math of it. But how you might be driving for 8-9 hours in a day or more?
Yep.
Does that day go real fast because of all the calculations you're sitting here doing?
We're always moving. I mean, it's when we get to point A and going on, I mean, it's over before you know it.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about not why seconds count, but why half seconds count if you're part of the Great Race.
Weather forecast, and we're going to join Doug. He is live in Fairport this morning with a father and son team getting ready once again to go on the Great Race.
Doug Embledge is live in Fairport today.
So, Doug, we're talking about the Great Race. It's a long trip with this father and son. I want to know, do they get along the whole time?
Well, yeah, we're going to ask them about that. They pretty much do, especially if they've had a good day. You know what would be a good day? Would be having gas that is, let me see, can you see back in there, Terry, where it says, that little red sign back there, it says 17 cents a gallon?
There you go. That's a good day.
Before they were into the race, one of the things Howard was into was collecting these vintage gas pumps.
Oh, neat.
Isn't this cool? Yeah, this kind of takes me back to my childhood, and I'll just have to tell you guys about it.
Gas
Okay.
was 17 cents a gallon when you were a child?
I don't remember because I wasn't driving. But these gas pumps remind me. Anyway, think about the gas they use on a 4,000-something mile trip across country for this 1932 Ford dirt track car. Video of the Great Race. This is what it's all about. They're moving across country, and they do it with timed checkpoints. And along the way, they might be zigging and zagging and going all over the place. And here's how it works. Howard drives, and Doug is the navigator and really the mathematician here. You're doing calculations all day long.
Yeah.
Talk about how half seconds count, not just seconds.
Yeah, half seconds count. We have in a typical day over 150 maneuvers that we're going to be on the clock for. And our stop signs, for instance, we have 15 seconds of pause time, but I have to calibrate how long it takes us to decelerate as well as accelerate and have that done within 15 seconds.
And you said that at the end of the day, you really don't know how you're doing. You only hope that you were hitting each checkpoint on time.
You follow the instructions and you go, man, we're following these we're perfect. You know, when you look at the times and you're getting there when you're supposed to be, according to what they tell you to be, you go by the checkpoint and how do you think we're doing? Perfect. We're right on. And you get in, you might have an 8 or 9 second on the leg, and you go, yeah, it's bad, real bad. And you go, what do we do? So and then I go back through the instructions and try to figure out what I did wrong.
And it's interesting to me that if you're 2 seconds early for one checkpoint and then you're 2 seconds late for the next, that doesn't equal 0, which would be good. That equals 4.
Correct.
Because you were off 2 seconds at both.
Yep. It adds up all day long, early or late.
And you're calculating as well the fact that this car takes 18 seconds to accelerate to 50 miles an hour, where the car you've taken in the past took 40 seconds.
Yes.
And so that's a huge, and you actually think to tell your dad to go, you have to think how he's doing, how late in the day it is, and how long it's going to take him to react to you saying go.
Yep, and you know, if he forgets to put it in gear, like I always have to remind him, make sure we're in first gear, and you know, because he drives a standard around all summer, and sometimes he has it in reverse because at home it's forward for first, and this one's back. So it's, you know, I say go, and all of a sudden we're going backwards. You know, it's not good. But he recovers pretty fast.
Holly wants to know how you get along. Are there any
we get along pretty good.
incidents?
We don't have a choice to not get along. We're pretty close for 14 days that if we don't get along, it makes for a really long day. But we get along.
We get along very well.
Yeah.
And you've won this thing twice, so you know you've got the whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, you have to be a team to make it happen, and he has to do his thing, and I have to do mine, and we can't try to over-infringe on each other too much.
At 13wham.com, we have a link to the race website, and folks who are interested can go on and track your progress through the day and see how you're doing.
Every day you can get our scores.
And how many?
Number 22.
Car number 22.
That's greatrace.com.
All right.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Doug.
you, guys.
No problem.
Oh, we were going to pull, you know what we'll do coming up in just a few minutes? Let's pull this out of the garage.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, very good.
That's a fun ride with them. That is very much a fun ride. We'll be right back. More news straight ahead.
We're in Fairport, and you can't start the race unless the car starts. So let's see if the Great Race is, if this team is ready to go for the Great Race. Start it up, guys. It's a loud. I knew it'd start. Here we go. They're going to move it out of the garage for us. Here it comes.
And
they leave tomorrow
look at that.
on the Great Race. Doug and Howard Sharp ready to go. We're going to talk with them some more. And coming up in just a minute, we're going to talk about how a wedding is going to make this race even more interesting than usual.
Ooh.
Ooh. That's new from last year. Okay. Thanks, Doug. And
Marty's here.
Yeah, it's going to be hot out. It's
Outside
going to be
today, yeah.
dangerous. I mean, honestly, working outside of this, a lot of people do. People who work.
Race. Won what, twice, Doug?
They won, right, 93, I think, in 2002, and they plan to win again this year, but in a new vehicle. Real quick, quiz for Holly and Norma.
Okay.
Who used to own this car? It's a 61 Corvette. You know him.
Oh, Paul DePascal?
Paul DePascal. That's his old.
Oh,
He still has vets, but he doesn't have this one anymore. So, Paul, if you're up watching this
Get
morning, I know
outta
he
here. He sold
he
it
was
to
out
them?
shooting a fire this morning, so he's probably getting some shut-eye, but that's Paul DePascal's
He sold
61
it to
vet.
them?
When
That's
I
so
started
cool.
at the station 25 years ago, he had this car.
wow, our
All
chief
right.
photographer.
Now, if you are an aficionado of the Great Race, perhaps you can appreciate the video we're about to show you here of the celebration that comes after you've run cross-country and perhaps won this thing. Take a look. There you go. And Doug and Howard, when you look at that, what's it like at the very end after these 14 days of working together and riding through the rain and the hot sun and everything else? What's it like when it all comes to an end?
We can go to sleep. No, it feels great. It's a real exciting time to know that you've traveled across country again for another year, and it's an amazing feat to take an old car across
And
country.
next year, it's actually going to Paris. From what, New York to Paris?
New York to Paris, around the world is next year's race.
And you've chosen not to do that whole thing?
That's what I've been told, but then I just heard from the backstage here that we're going to do part of it.
Oh, really?
So,
So
kinda
the
interesting.
backstage, that would be Jan, who's
Sounds
on your
like my
crew.
wife, yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like your wife. Talk about some of the people you meet along the way and the spirit you encounter, not just from the other racers who are likely to help you out if you have a problem and vice versa, but just some of the people you've met along the way who've helped you out.
Well, you meet people along the way that you know, you live in Rochester and everything you want is at your fingertips. You know exactly where it is. But when you come into a city, you know where nothing is. and you get there and you try to scramble to find the welding shop, the radiator shop, the rear end shop, or whatever the case might be, and they're there, and you try to work with a crowd, and if people come over and say, let me take you, get my car, I'll take you there, I'll do this, I'll do that, we'll go to my house and get brazing rod. I mean, everybody's there to support you, just 100%. It's awesome.
It makes you feel good about America, you
Oh,
say.
America's great.
Yeah.
America's great.
Now, how do you feel about a son who's your partner who's going to leave in the middle of the race to fly to New York to be in a wedding?
That's not good. That is definitely not good.
Doug, please explain.
Commitments, you know. No, I'm in a wedding, and the race actually got backed up a week, so I was going to be home, but now I have to do a little interim.
So when you're in Texas,
Yeah.
you're going to fly to New York
Yep.
to be in this wedding for a day, and your
Yep.
mom is going to take over as navigator?
Yeah, she's going to take over as navigator. She's never done it before.
You ready to
but
go?
She's
Nervous?
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
what you call a
I'll be
rookie,
okay.
a bone rookie.
Yeah.
Now, you talk about you and your son getting along most of the time.
It won't be as good with Jan in the car, trust me.
We know that already.
Well, we still know you're going to make it to the finish line, and we hope you're going to win.
If she doesn't get us lost.
Oh. Holly and Norma, I think we could have started something. Because you know there's nothing more pleasant than when you're married and you're on a long car trip.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
And no pressure on mom.
Now she
My
reads the map
goodness.
like this. She steers the map.
Oh. I do it that way
You
too.
going to take this? You get
Oh,
last
yeah.
word.
That's how I look at maps.
Because I'm going to tell him what to do for one
Hey, you go, girl.
And not all of that is driving related, I'm sure. Okay. We'll be back with more on the CW.
Thank
No,
you, Doug.
they are fun. Good luck to them.
Oh,
We
I'll
wish
be
them
interested
all the
to
best.
see what happens in Texas.
Norma, you were out here, I think, last year or the
Yep.
year before, and they're getting ready to go. They have asked, would you like to go along with them?
Oh, me?
Actually, I make that up. They did not ask that. But wouldn't that be interesting?
That would be interesting.
That would be
Because I'm a
interesting.
terrible map reader.
Well, you'd be the navigator,
Oh no.
and you'd be the public relations person.
There you go. I could do that with
Yes.
my eyes
Meet
closed.
the
but-
folks. We're coming up in the CW. We're gonna talk more about the great race, and it's not, a little bit more about how it's not just in a hurry to get there. You have
Right.
to get checkpoint to checkpoint to checkpoint. It's really something else.
We wish them the best of luck.
Thanks, Doug. More on CW16 with the Great Race.
Have a great day, everybody.